Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So tonight it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I usually talk about something downsizing and decluttering. And tonight's topic is 5 winning strategies to finally succeed at decluttering and staying organized. So I want to start with a quote that has made a difference in my own life on my downsizing and decluttering journey, that I hope will give you some food for thought as you might be struggling with downsizing or decluttering, so that you can prevent from recluttering and once and for all get organized. So I'm not sure who to credit this quote with because I read it a long time ago, but it did make a difference for me. And whoever it was that wrote it, I just want to say thank you. So the quote is, people give up because they think about how far they still have to go instead of thinking about how far they've already gone. Now, as simple as that may sound, it definitely has made a difference in me. If you think about a long-distance runner, and I have a niece and a nephew who both are long-distance runners, and they've shared with me, they definitely have a struggle. They're midway and they're tired physically and mentally, but they keep going because they're always thinking about how far they've already come. And then someone who is dieting, whether you've lost 15 pounds or 20 pounds, whatever it is, it's far easier to reward yourself by saying, wow, I've already lost that much weight, rather than saying, well, I've still got another 20 or 30 to go. Or it could be someone who's downsizing or decluttering, maybe like you, and just trying to stay organized. So this is about training ourselves to think differently. And when you are looking at that decluttering or the downsizing struggle that you're dealing with, think about how far you've already come. And perhaps the reason this resonates so strongly with me is because that was me just a few years ago. I remember looking around my big house and I was just absolutely overwhelmed, and I was very intimidated by the process that was ahead of me. And I had so much stuff that I didn't know where or how to begin. And it did look like an impossible task. And at that moment in time, I felt defeated before I even began. And then I read that quote. So if this sounds familiar to you, and if you're drowning in your own stuff and you're plagued with that clutter that just keeps seeming to reappear, you're definitely not alone. And if it sounds like it's too good to be true, that it is possible, though, to defeat that clutter and to get organized and to stay organized once and for all. Tonight, I want to share with you 5 winning strategies that I discovered on my own downsizing journey that helped me shift my thinking. And I reminded myself daily of how far I had already come rather than how far I had yet to go and how much stuff I still had to do. So these are my 5 winning strategies to finally succeed at decluttering and to remain decluttered. The first one is to start thinking like a minimalist. Now, even though you may not be a minimalist, you don't aspire to being a minimalist, just bear with me for a moment and just pretend for the moment that you're moving or you're downsizing to a much smaller home, even if you're not. Try walking from one room into one room of your house, and let's just take the master bedroom, and make a list of only the things that would fit in that much smaller home. It's a bed, a nightstand, or a pair of nightstands, maybe a dresser. Then look at your closet, and where you might have a lot of clothing, you might say, well, I can only fit 5 dresses. Which ones would they be? 5 pairs of shoes. Which ones do I like? Do I wear? 5 pairs of pants. And so that's the beginning of changing your thinking. And even though this sounds like an exaggeration, and to some extent I am, because I'm using it as just an exercise for you to start training yourself to say, what would it be like to live with less? And if I had a choice, what would the things be that I would take with me? This helps you to start letting go of things that you don't really need, that we tell ourselves that we need. The second strategy to decluttering and getting organized is to practice letting go. So going back to the idea of that smaller home, or that much smaller home again, try another area of your home. For instance, a library. I had a beautiful library that was surrounded with bookcases floor to ceiling. That room was really a hard one for me because I thought I loved every single thing in it. But one day I actually made myself look at each shelf and say, okay, I can only pick 3 things on each shelf. And that exercise helped me practice, if I didn't have all of this space, what do I really love? What would I take with me? And that helped me start the process of learning how to let go. The third strategy is to develop your own set of questions that you ask yourself as you're decluttering. So this is going to be unique to you. Some that I used were, why did I buy this in the first place? And would I buy it again? And if the answer was no, then why am I holding on to it? And the other question I kept asking myself, because I knew I would be downsizing and moving to a much smaller home, will I have room for it? And that was a pretty basic question, because if I had 2 large chairs that were definitely fit in my big house, would they fit in my smaller home? The next question that I kept asking myself is, do I need it? Will I use it? And whatever your questions are that you choose, they should help you become more decisive. The goal of this whole exercise here is to start winnowing down what you need, what you don't need, what you want, what you don't want, what you use and not use. It's a little bit like building that muscle memory, because the more you ask yourself that question, the more decisive you become. And it just works. And I'm not exactly sure how, but it's like going to the gym once a week or 5 times a week. You know, that muscle of making decisions becomes easier and easier. The fourth strategy is to determine ahead of time where you're going to be taking all of your donations. So that might seem funny, but if I wouldn't leave it to chance anymore that your donations site may or may not take your donations. They've gotten extremely picky because, you know, during the COVID situation, everybody was dumping all of their stuff. So ask them, did they take small appliances? Did they take books, furniture, decorative accessories? You need to know, because then you can take them there. If they don't, find other places that will take those things. We can't assume anymore because they've gotten far pickier, and they they want to tell you that they're not going to accept it or that they will. Also know their hours, their drop-off policies, and everything else. When you find this out ahead of time, it's just going to help you make your decluttering easier. Another thing to do is find out if they will have a pickup service, because that would certainly save you some time and energy. And the last strategy to decluttering once and for all, and also staying organized, is to declutter each day and all day. Now that sounds kind of crazy, but as you go about your day, declutter as you go. So clean off your desk, do the dishes as you're cooking, or certainly as soon as you finish eating. Don't let things build up. So make your bed when you get up, put your clothes away when you take them off, or put them in the laundry. Clean off your desk each day, or clean out your car each evening. Whatever you're doing, use it, then put it away, and put it back where it belongs so you'll know where to find it the next time. So every little bit helps, and if you think about 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, then you can help yourself remain decluttered. And every little bit counts when it comes to keeping clutter at bay and staying organized. So if you try to declutter all of it at once, all of it at one time, it's certainly frustrating and overwhelming. So rather than thinking about how big that task is ahead of you, take those baby steps, the 5, the 10, the 15 minutes, at a time so you can feel good about those quick wins. You know, when you look at your kitchen after, you know, you've had a really nice dinner, your kitchen's nice and clean, there's something to be said about, you know, living that clutter-free life. Or in the morning, you know, making your bed and having a nice clean room. All of those things are little wins, but they're big wins in many ways. And also those quick wins help you start thinking about how far you've already come. So don't forget to take before and after pictures. That's one last tip. Those before and after pictures are amazing. They help you keep motivated. And one more thing, once you discover a particular decluttering method that works for you and for your personality, use that one every single day. And you might want to check out my online course, the 8 decluttering methods that are proven. The decluttering method I've used over and over again, and I use it every single day, is a burst method. So I might have 5 minutes, and what can I do in 5 minutes to clean out my car or clean off my desk, whatever. But those are the kind of things, those are ways that you can not only declutter now the bigger projects, but also just to maintain a clutter-free life.